We now recite the second stanza as prayer for today. O God of creation, direct our noble cause, guide our leaders right, help our youth the truth to know, in love and honesty to grow,
and living just and true,
great lofty heights attain, to build a nation where peace and justice shall reign. Amen. Thank you very much. We may be seated. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, once again, I want to sincerely apologize for starting this program behind schedule. Without much ado, please, I would like to recognize and invite to the high table. First, I'd like to introduce and bring to the high table the chairman of the occasion, and who is the president of the Association of Professional Bodies of Nigeria, in person of Dr. Idris Omeide. You're welcome, sir. Please bring him to the high table. Next, I'd like to call up and bring also to the high table the guest speaker for today, who also is the president of the Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria, in person of Surveyor Ugochukwu Chime, fellow Nigerian Institution of Surveyors and honorary fellow of the Nigerian Institute of Building. Please, we can do much better than that. Let's give him a round of applause. Thank you very much. I also have the pleasure in bringing to the high table the Honorable Minister of the First Federal Capital Territory, who is ably represented today by Town Planner Galadima. Let's give him a round of applause. He's representing the Honorable Minister of the Federal Capital Territory. You're welcome, sir. Let's give him another round of applause. While he's sitting, I'd like to recognize and bring to the high table as well a past president of the Nigerian Institute of Building, who is here in our midst. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please, let's give him a round of applause as I call and bring to the microphone, to the high table, our own builder, Professor Kunle Adewahab. Builder, Professor Kunle Adewahab. You're welcome, sir. One of the early, in fact, he was the 5th president of the Nigerian Institute of Building. Let's give him a round of applause. You are very much welcome, sir. While he's taking his seat, I also have the pleasure in bringing also to the high table another past president of the Nigerian Institute of Building, in person of Builder Professor Dalhatu A. Muazu. Builder Professor Dalhatu A. Muazu, you are welcome, sir. Please come to the high table. Let's usher you there. Let's give him another round of applause. You're welcome, sir. I also have the pleasure bringing to the high table another past president of the Nigerian Institute of Building, who incidentally, a few weeks ago, about a week, just over a week ago, celebrated his 80th. Baba, you're welcome, sir. I also have the pleasure, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I also have the honor of bringing to the high table our own, who is also an Assistant Inspector General of Police, in person of AIG Oladipupo Abdul Fattah. Let's give him a round of applause. He said he's on his way, so once he comes in, he will join us. I also have the pleasure and honor in bringing also to the high table one of our past presidents, Builder Dr. Micah Obiegu. Let's give him a round of applause. Let's give him a round of applause. A past president of the Nigerian Institute of Building, fellow NIOB. And following him, Builder Honorable Bala Bawa Kaoji, fellow Nigerian Institute of Building. Let's give him a round of applause. You will recall that Builder Honorable Bawa Kaoji was a former Minister of Sport of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I also have the pleasure in bringing to the high table another past president of the Nigerian Institute of Building, person of Builder D.D. Jambo, fellow Nigerian Institute of Building. You are very much welcome, sir. Another past president I'm going to bring up again is Builder Chuks Ambrose Omeife, fellow Nigerian Institute of Building. You are welcome, sir. Thank you very much. We have in our midst I also would like to bring up the present Controller General of Immigration in Nigeria. I want to bring on CG Babandede, if he's around. Let's give him a round of applause. Wow, is he around? He's okay, he's on his way. Thank you very much. While I also bring up another past president of the Nigerian Institute of Building, in person of Builder Babatunde Lashabi, fellow Nigerian Institute of Building. You are welcome, sir. You're welcome. Thank you very much. From Etelesi, the Managing Director of Etelesi Nigeria Limited, Dr. Dalhatu, it's okay, sorry, Mr. Obina Etele. You're welcome. Thank you very much. I would also like to recognize and ask to recognize the presence of the following in our midst today. Thank you, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I also have the pleasure of bringing to the high table Dr. Dalhatu Mohammed Ahmed. He is the regional president of OSHA Association, UK. You are welcome, sir. Thank you very much. I also want to recognize and bring to the high table the chairman of the College of Fellows of the Nigerian Institute of Building. I have the honor of bringing to the high table Builder Mrs. Adebolanle Araba, Fellow, Nigerian Institute of Building. And she is the first female builder in Nigeria. Let's give her a round of applause. Then, sir, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to also bring to the high table the president, the managing director of Julius Berger Nigeria Limited, ably represented here by our own builder, Bayi Ibrahim, who is the director of administration of JB. You are welcome, sir. And then I'd like to also bring to the high table a past chairman of COBON, the Council of, a past chairman of COBON, Council of Registered Builders of Nigeria, in person of builder, Professor Akindoyeni. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I will do some recognitions as we go on, but please let me just quickly invite to the microphone to give his welcome address. Yes, sorry. Thank you very much. I thought I had done that. Sir, I want to bring on the chief host for today, who is the president of the Nigerian Institute of Building. I hope we can rise up to welcome him to this place. Builder Kenneth Nnabuife Unduka, the president of Nigerian Institute of Building, fellow Nigerian Institute of Building.
Please permit me to invite to the high table the president of the women builders in person of builder Mrs. Lami Kawu to the high table. You are welcome. And I am not going to call any name, but the College of Fellow members are here. I would like all of them, wherever they are, to stand up for recognition. Please, you are welcome here.
We have in our midst here today a former Minister of State for Health, President of Architect Gabriel Aduku. He who was also a former Nigerian Institute of Architects.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite to the high table another powerful female builder that we have in Nigeria. In fact, a former vice chairman of Carbon, in person of builder Mrs. Bolariwa Iyabo. I'm very sorry, I don't want to call that name because it's like my mother's name. Please, you are welcome to the ITV. You are welcome, ma'am. Please, we would like you to come to the front here, ma'am. Yeah, here, at the middle. Yeah.
Anyway, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I also want to recognize, as is seated in our midst, the president of the Nigerian Institution of Quantity Surveyors. I would have really brought him up, but please, let me recognize you. He's ably represented here by QS Osaritin Okoro, fellow Nigerian Institution of Quantity Surveyors. You are welcome, sir. We appreciate you. Thank you very much, sir. We will take the builder's anthem before we will commence, and that will be anchored by the Honorary General Secretary. Thank
you. Ladies and gentlemen, the builder's anthem, we've said we are going to try as much as possible to make sure every member of the Institute knows how to recite it. So in view of that, I would like to refer you to page 2 of the program, where we have the builder's anthem. So kindly get up and let us start with the builder's anthem. One, two. Stand up, O great builder, arise to do your job. Stand up and build a nation with commitment for a well-built environment. With dedication to our service, we must arise and build. Help us, O God, your shipbuilder, and to put our cause. Thank you very much. Further dignitaries shall be recognized, but before we proceed to the main agenda for today, let me recognize a former commissioner in the Katsina State and also a fellow of the Nigerian Institute of Building, Alhaji Abdulaziz Isa Keita. You are highly recognized, sir. You can please come to the front seat here, sir. No, sir. We want you here, sir. We want to see your face, sir. Thank you, sir. Without much ado, let us we'll go to the opening remarks by the chairman of the occasion, by the chairman of the organizing committee, in person of Builder Ewa Aldatin, the third vice president of the Nigerian Institute of Building. A round of applause for him, please.
I want to stand on the existing protocol, which started from the minister, FCT minister, that is represented by Town Planning Galadima, that went down to Government Chairman, we are recognizing everybody here. All past presidents of both Nigerian Store Building and including even the past president of Coference. I want to also think about all presidents of professional bodies here. I move straight to the president of Women Builders, and also think about the fellows, the chairman of Council of Fellows. And I will get to the press, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning to you all. It accords me profound pleasure to welcome you to this special and auspicious event, 48 Builders Conference / Annual General Meeting, with the theme, the housing sector in national economic development. The theme is very apt, especially now that our nation has exited recession and has launched herself on the path of economic recovery and growth. The role of housing and construction sector and their many concomitant interlinkage in national building cannot be underestimated vis-a-vis solving youth unemployment, as well as fostering galloping social economic development of Nigeria. Noble colleagues and stakeholders of the building construction and housing industry, this special AGM doubles as a reminder and celebration that we became as a legitimate professional body since 1967, when we became the first overseas center of the Institute of Building. Indeed, we are celebrating our 50 years of existence, which noble age we attained last year. On behalf of the Marketing and Corporate Affairs Committee, I hailed every guest and all members seated here for this epoch-making outing. Today, my esteemed colleagues as renowned professionals and burgeoning body, we shall proudly continue to identify ourselves with the challenges of the built environment and mitigating, contribute our maximum professional prowess towards the achievement of responsive housing sector that will address the needs of the society and environment using unified and approved building control laws / building code of practice as a guide. On this note, I thank you all for your support and congratulate you for your attendance, active participation in this annual conference. We assure you of a convivial and safe environment throughout the duration of the program. This is a conference with a huge difference, and you will be well informed, better equipped, relaxed, and detoxified to face both life and professional challenges. May God continue to keep us, crown our efforts with resounding successes, and grant us safe passage back to our various destinations at the end of this 4-day program. Thank you.
Now without much ado, we would like to have now the opening remark from the chairman of the occasion today, who doubles as the national president of the Association of Professional Block Bodies of Nigeria. I'm talking about Dr. Idris Omeide for his opening remarks.
The representative of the Honorable Minister of FCT, Kamplana Mukhtar Galadima, the President of Nigerian Institute of Building and Council members, members of the High Table, past President of NIOB, the President of Women Builders, Presidents of professional member bodies that are here, specifically that of Society of Engineers and representative of NIQS, Fellow of NIOB, distinguished builders and professionals, council members of COBOM, chairman and council members of building, the former Minister of State for Health, the past president of NIA, and chairman APBN Award for Professional Excellence Committee, The keynote speaker, Mr. Chime, who is the President of Real Estate Developers of Nigeria. Distinguished professionals, members of NIB, ladies and gentlemen, Chairman of the NOC on Builders Conference 2018, ladies and gentlemen of the press, good morning. I want to congratulate NIB for our 48th conference with a very special theme at this time of our economic needs, housing sector, and national economic development. I think the theme is very topical, very apt, now more than ever before. We do know that housing is one of the essentials of life. Whatever you do, if you do not have a roof on your head, then you are just hanging on the street and your thinking faculty will not be very appropriate. Its role in economic development cannot be overestimated in terms of contributions, both in terms of engagement of professionals and non-professionals for development. And by extension, providing that above that you need to live in, not only as residential, but for business purposes. Thus, the role of builders in this scheme in that sector cannot be overestimated. We believe very well that as professional body, we hold the key, along with other related professional bodies, in developing this sector, particularly with regards to the private sector base. If the enabling environment is provided by government, we think that this sector will be able to do well to provide both for the rich, for the poor, for the civil servant, non-civil servant, for the informal sector. And we believe very well that our economy will do well through the facilities and materials that are required to produce building. It is therefore our conviction and our conviction that this sector is very key for economic development in every angle you look at it from. What one calls for is for good collaboration within the professional bodies that make up this sector for purposes of having synergy and communal relationship within which to package and develop on our mandate. As professionals, I'm quite aware that you have the ideas, you have the skill, and you have the goodwill to develop on this. I want to charge us that we need to look at how we can begin to produce local materials in building to reduce the cost of building constructions and by extension, the properties that are let out for people to make use of. That way, we'll be able to assuage so many of the difficulties that our people are going through. I will end this opening remark by appreciating and believing that the speakers that have been lined up to talk on the theme and the sub-theme will do clear justice to the topics and the theme. And at the end of the day, may not just be a talk shop, but conference within which the decisions and recommendations that come out from here will be utilized both by the professional body, the private sector, and government will key into decisions that are taken from here. I thank you and I wish us a very successful conference. Thank you so much.
Please let's give him another bountiful round of applause. That was the opening remark by the chairman of the occasion, the president of APBN, Dr. Idris Umerife. Thank you very much. Briefly, I'd like to recognize and bring to the front seat the Director General of the National Directorate of Employment, who is ably represented by an assistant director in the directorate, person of Mr. Augustine Akahalu. Let's give him a round of applause. Please come to the front. Thank you very much. I also like to recognize and bring to the front seat a former vice chairman of COBON, the Council of Registered Builders of Nigeria, in person of builder Professor Martins Dada, fellow Nigerian Institute of Building. Please come to the front here. Thank you very much. I also have the honor of recognizing the Managing Director and CEO of Sterling Bank PLC, who is ably represented today by Mrs. Aishat Adari Ruku. Wow, you're welcome. Please, we want you to move to the front. Please come to the front. Let's give her a round of applause. That is the representative of the Managing Director and CEO of Sterling Bank PLC. Thank you very much. Now we'd like to take, I'll continue with other recognitions as we proceed. We'll have to take now the welcome address by the chief host for today, who is ably present here, and is the president of the Nigerian Institute of Building, Builder Kenneth Nnabuife Unduka, fellow Nigerian Institute of Building. You are welcome, sir.
Good day, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I wish to stand on existing protocols, but if I do that, I may forget or I may not live out rightly the opportunity, wonderful opportunity that this great assembly has provided us. Before I commence, I want to invite the representative of the Director General of FOSI to the high table, to the front row. I would also wish to invite all the representatives of the higher institutions that we invited for this occasion to come to the front row. I will wish also to invite the MDs and chief executives or their representatives of member organizations, financial, manufacturers, in the built environment that we specifically extended our invitations to. I wish that all of them come to the front row, if any of them is there behind. Having said that, ladies and gentlemen, my chairman, my past presidents, the keynote speaker, President, Association of Professional Women, Professional Builders, Women Builders in Nigeria, my college, Chairman College of Fellows, MD, a Telesin group of companies, MD Julius Berger here ably represented, presidents and representatives of all the built environment professionals here invited, our dear colleagues, fellows, members of Nigerian Institute of Building who Mother Locke has smiled upon to assume responsible positions in the country, all chairmen of state chapters here present, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you all to this gathering. On behalf of the National Council, members and staff of the Nigerian Institute of Building, and with great thanks to the Almighty God, I heartily welcome you to this unique 48th anniversary, 48th annual general meeting and conference of our noble institute. It is unique because Providence destined it that I should emerge the 20th president of the institute in the 50th anniversary of the institute, and that I should chair the first post-Golden Jubilee Annual General Meeting of the Institute, holding in Federal Capital of Nigeria, the Center of Unity, exactly 40 years after my first engagement with the Institute as a student member. My reckoning is that only the agenda of God could have allowed the collocation of such manifestations. Hence, the resolve to use the opportunity to rightly celebrate our golden anniversary this year. In that specific regard, permit me therefore to specially welcome you to the celebration of the Golden Jubilee anniversary of our dear professional organization, the Nigerian Institute of Building. This year's occasion offers the opportunity to celebrate ourselves and reminisce of our activities to date, vis-à-vis the contributions of the Institute, our members, and the profession to the economic growth and sustainable development of the built environment, most especially as it relates to producing buildings to address the housing needs of our country, Nigeria. This specifically explains the choice of the conference theme, the housing sector in national economic development, and the quest for charting better ways forward. The provision of shelter, ancient in origin as it is, as man's next need after food and clothing, presents as one of the greatest challenges in terms of efficient delivery, environmental safety, and responsive need satisfaction. This reality therefore beckons on the unique role of builders for managing projects, environments, and its resources, organizing and coordinating the different tasks and activities performed by different project stakeholders, handling information and channeling communications among project participants, providing opportunities for the growth and development of skills and morale of the field implementation teams. Towards satisfying these role expectations, opportunities like today's gathering need to be utilized to remind all stakeholders in the housing delivery industry that all the factors for the production of buildings for affordable housing, namely finance, land, technology, materials, and skills, are domiciled in separate economic segments and operational silos that must be assembled and reconciled together as industry collaborators if a need-responsive free market economy must be excited. For the past 50 years of our existence, the Nigerian Institute of Building has leveraged on this understanding to aspire for more technicalities and possibilities for operational linkages, purposely to engage sister professional bodies, as well as interface with other building industry practitioners and stakeholders. The outcome expectation borders mainly on the synergy of the industry-wide efforts for the harvest and deployment of our respective unique potentials for the efficient, effective, and successful delivery of the much-awaited housing needs of our people. Today, we are proud to say that the Nigerian Institute of Building has come of age. Today, we are reminding the government and general public that the time has come in the life of the Nigerian built environment system and government structure for the unique role of builders in all aspects of building project delivery initiatives to be respected, operationally applied, and statutorily enforced. The operational space of the building industry must be allowed to experience proper interpretation and translation of designs and shop drawings, effective material scheduling and procurement, efficient construction risk mitigation and management, responsive work programming and time scheduling, effective site management for waste minimization, functional work supervision and value engineering for good quality building stocks, buildability and maintainability assessments that will reconcile the construction methods, guarantee economic integration of work processes, and anchor the sustainable requirements that will preserve the design life of the building. It therefore implies that if our built environment must be spared the prevailing spate of sick and collapsed buildings, if our economic resources must be applied devoid of wastes, if we must not compromise the future of our environment with wrong activities of quacks and interlopers in the building construction industry, then the time is now for the unique role of builders to be harvested for national development. Today, the clarion call goes to all built environment professionals, organizations, and their regulatory bodies, all the distinguished housing developers that drive the housing industry, all finance, insurance, and mortgage institutions, all non-governmental organizations and advocacy groups, all other private sector stakeholders, and all the ministries, departments, and agencies at all levels of government in this country to join hands with Nigerian Institute of Building and professional builders nationwide towards ensuring that the Nigerian public is provided good quality, cost-effective, timely delivered, safe, maintainable, and sustainable collapse-free buildings to serve the housing needs, our housing needs. It is our belief that together we can make it. Once again, permit me to welcome us all to this great occasion, and do hope that the discussions that will cover the respective paper presentations during the technical session will excite and deepen attention towards precipitating the desired approach on how all the housing stakeholders will rightly combine forces to address the prevailing industry challenges. If therefore, the initiatives for effective housing delivery must excite the desired successful outcomes, then the current silo mentality syndrome, the dawning on realistic design options that are neither pocket nor culture responsive, the haunting professional role usurpations, the embarrassing poor quality of housing work products, the endemic corruption, and the unpredictable political and economic policy styles of government that frustrate the effectiveness and efficiency in the demand-supply dynamics, funding strategies, and implementation paradigms for housing delivery in our dear country. It therefore demands that salvaging attention of all stakeholders in the built environment industry must be applied. Kindly, therefore, accept my sincere thanks for your esteemed presence and listening pleasure. while I return all glory to the God Almighty. Thank you very much.
Please, let's give it to him before he starts, as he takes his seat. That indeed was loaded, and that was the opening speech by the President of the Nigerian Institute of Building, Builder Nduka, fellow Nigerian Institute of Building. Let's give him another round of applause as he takes his seat. Thank you very much. Thank you so very much. That was deep and loaded. I believe we have quite a number of things to key in all that has been said. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, briefly, I just have the honor of taking this recognition as we proceed. I'd like to recognize here in our midst the Honorable Commissioner for Empowerment, Gombe State of Nigeria, in person of Honorable Builder Farouk Yarama. Let's give him a round of applause. You're welcome, sir. We are pleased to have you in our midst. Thank you. I also have the pleasure of recognizing here in our midst. Wow, usually like a sitting president or president in waiting of Nigerian Institute of Building, who now is the first vice president of the Nigerian Institute of Building, Builder Kunle Awobodu, fellow Nigerian Institute of Building. You are welcome, sir. Thank you very much, sir. And now, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, will go straight to take the keynote address for today, and that will be done by the president of the Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria, in person of Surveyor Ugochukwu Chime, fellow Nigerian Institution of Surveyors. You are welcome, sir. Let's give him a round of applause.
Permit me, sir, to observe all the protocols that have been established by previous speakers so that we can go straight to what we have to discuss today. I'd like to acknowledge the presence of all of us here who have gathered with one thing in mind, to see how the issue of the building industry can be enhanced and move forward. When I was told that I'm going to deliver this keynote speech, I was asking myself in what capacity. But when I saw my very beautiful chairman of the College of Fellows, I now understood why I wanted to be here. Madam, I appreciate you so much. Therefore, it is with great delight and gratitude to God Almighty, on behalf of the National Executive Council of Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria, I wish to express appreciation for inviting me to give a talk at this August gathering. It's also heartening to be here as one of you after the conferment on me of the honorary fellowship of the Institute in Bauchi State in 2017. I want to still thank the Council for the opportunity given. The discussion on housing and national economic development during this moment in the life of our nation is auspicious, as it will appropriately situate the imperative of the role of real estate as engine of growth that we desperately need as a nation with over 50% youth unemployment, the figure from the National Bureau of Statistics. More so when the building industry has such capacity to quickly provide needed skills and competencies and employment for our artisans who are mainly youths. Economic development can be noted as a process by which a nation deliberately seeks to improve the economic, political, and social well-being of its people. It encompasses such broad economic objectives as price stability, high employment, sustainable growth, using fiscal policies, tax policies, infrastructure development, affordable housing, effective land administration, education, etc. Underline in your heart the word process with time and purposefulness as its critical underpinning. And you know that in our country, we have the 4-year election cycle. But permit me to say that projects of many magnitude last for 10 years. And therefore, the timing mismatch between the political cycle and the project cycle is one issue we should bear in mind as we define some of these parameters for ourselves. Housing as agents of economic development. The provision of adequate housing that is acceptable, safe, secure, accessible, affordable, and sanitary is a fundamental human right as well as an essential component in the advancement of both the economic development of the nation and the promotion of the quality of the life of the citizenry. Interestingly, the Nigerian Constitution, specifically Section 16, subsection 1D of the 1999 Constitution, under the fundamental objectives of state policy, compels the Nigerian state to provide suitable and adequate shelter for all citizens. Thus, the need to have access to decent, safe, and sanitary housing accommodation at affordable disposal prices ought to be the right of every Nigerian. This socialist bent has been the underpinning philosophy towards housing over the decades and led to the skewing of the existing laws and policies to protect tenants. You remember when we had rent control and the rest of them, and the downtrodden from the profitable motives of the bourgeois. When government could no more play the role of provision of sustainable or subsidized housing via the various housing corporations and the Federal Housing Authority, a severe gap existed in housing supply to the lower and middle class. Furthermore, over the years, this narrow definition of housing from the social perspective of providing shelter for the people obscured the huge impact on employment generation, multiplier effect on the local economy, and inclusive diagonal growth and increased GDP that can come from the sector. At the 6th Global Housing Finance Conference organized by the World Bank in 2014 in Washington, D.C., the keynote speaker, our own Nigerian Finance Minister and Coordinating Minister for the Economy, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, highlighted three key benefits of pushing housing further up the development agenda for any country. Number one, she said that the housing sector is a significant contributor to the economic growth and has multiplier effect on the broader economy. Studies in the United States suggest that every dollar spent on housing generates as much as $1.60 in the wider economy. Today, if you invest $1 billion in any state on housing, the bank manager, the one selling akara balls in the site, everyone will feel the impact of that money simultaneously. And that is how America was able to spend their way out of the economic recession some few years past. Number two, she noted that housing creates jobs and supports economic inclusion from direct to indirect jobs and skilled to unskilled jobs. The impact of housing on job creation is quite clear. And that is why the federal government is now dovetailing under the element of training of artisans and also stimulating growth in the economy through housing. In India, it's estimated that the impact of 2 million new affordable housing will be direct employment for 3 million people working in construction and indirect employment for 24 million people in linked industries and services, wood, steel, paint, electricity, etc. And a 2% growth in the GDP. There will also be about $17 billion rise in the demand for credit, a 16 million ton demand for cement, while the need for steel will rise by 6 million. These are verifiable studies. Why are we not quoting the Nigerian situation? We don't have the data, but we'll still get to that as we go along. Number three, home ownership leads to increased social benefits. Studies have shown that stable housing and home ownership gives citizens a true stake in their communities. It enhances security, community policing, and reduces outbreak of diseases. The place of housing as the engine room of economic development stems from the fact that activities around it have both forward and backward linkages to other sectors of the economy. Construction is a major economic activity with tremendous multiplier effects. Housing and construction industry play a special role in many industrialized countries by creating durable and productive employment. Factories can close down, farms can be overgrown by weeds, but most of the time, especially in a very high deficit, housing deficit economy like Nigeria, we still have a long way to go. It is critical to empowering citizenry creating direct and indirect employment opportunities for them on the productive value chain of sustainable economic endeavors. Interestingly, in housing accounts for 15% to 35% of the aggregate investment worldwide. And the sector employs approximately 10% of the labor force worldwide. However, the housing and construction sector in Nigeria accounts for only about 3% of the country's rebate GDP. The country has an extremely low ratio of credit to GDP, and of the little credit provided by banks, only a fraction of it goes for mortgages. I'd like to inform you that we have less than 200 mortgages in the country for a country that is about 200 million Nigerians. You can do the mathematics and find this is the poorest that we can ever have with a nation of our peer status. With approximately 17 million housing deficit in the economy, focus on addressing this shortfall will catalyze the productive sectors. This is imperative as the market is available. Only effective demand needs to be enhanced. Also, the impetus to create steady supply is germane. So far, our country has yet to realize this potential. Addressing the housing deficit will have a game-changing impact on our society and on our communities. Globally, there is a strong consensus that the development of the housing sector is important for stimulating economic growth and job creation in the economy. The huge potential to potentially transform our socio-economic landscape is multidisciplinary and multidimensional in nature. The seen and unseen linkages that determine the outcome of any real estate investment are yet to be understood by virtually all the stakeholders. Being a socioeconomist tool for development, the real estate development process, according to Professor Timothy Newby, can be designed in such a way as to produce linkages between over 250 ancillary industries. The challenge: various efforts over the decades to tame the rising deficit have met with very limited success. Several reasons have been adduced for this, ranging from challenges in finance to land administration problems, from dearth of needed manpower to absence of regulatory environment, etc. This has resulted in severe blame trading and confusion in the system, working in silos. Many stakeholders have misunderstood their roles, thus engendering overlaps and gaps in the value chain of housing delivery. Most of the reasons may have contributed in one way or the other, but from our own experience in Redden over the years, we have identified that the paradigm shift in housing delivery approach from individual efforts at direct construction of their homes using savings to depending on mass housing suppliers, quote, developers, investors, and the use of mortgage loans from financiers to meet their shelter needs is the culprit. This change in home ownership approach is yet to be appreciated, and the structure for effective management of the transaction dynamics put in place in Nigeria. This is at the heart of the problem, the confusion. The challenge becomes more glaring when we look at the constitution of Nigeria and realize that while the fiscal policies on the exclusive list handled by the federal government, the land administration laws, policies, and processes are on the residual list being handled by the state government. That is why whether the Shagari scheme, whether the other schemes over the years have failed, because the federal government, with their political cycle, their views, are handling the fiscal policies, while the state government, 37 land administering entities, that's 36 states and FCT, are allowed by law, the Land Use Act, to operate the land policies however they like. And there has not been any structure to merge these two systems, and also to ensure that the new people who are coming in as investors, either on the supply side or on the demand side, are keyed into the policies so as to protect their investments. That is where our problem is located. This calls for effective collaboration efforts among stakeholders to ensure that the risks and rewards can be redistributed with the aim of enhancing the organizational efficiency. Unfortunately, those of us who are professionals in the built industry are lagging in understanding and highlighting the housing sector changing dynamics. We have remained providers of data and allowed all kinds of people to become our new bosses as investors, because he who pays the piper dictates the tune, and we are complaining and waiting for subvention for our carbon, our SOCON, our ESBA bond, and other bonds that we have. Our clients, which used to be the government, ministry, department, and agencies, have gradually become private sector operators with a different set of values, expectations, and focus. We need to realize these facts and adopt our thinking and our strategy appropriately. According to the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan, ERGP, of the federal government, released by the federal government of Nigeria in February 2017, the private sector is currently providing over 75% of the entrepreneurial skill and investment energy that is driving the Nigerian economy. And this is expected to increase in the nearby future. What road we foresee for ourselves as professionals in keying into this sector where government is moving away from? Equity does not reward the indolent. What has been done over the years? Since 2015, Redan has been at the forefront of the quest to ensure that housing industry stakeholders understand the changing dynamics and paradigm shifts in housing delivery and acquisition that has been thrust upon us as a nation. That is with a view to unleashing its tremendous potential and serve as the fulcrum for national development, economic development. Some of the achievements that have been made include the following. Number one, collaboration and effective understanding among stakeholders. A lot of collaborative work has been done, and that collaboration and working together have been achieved in various areas, resulting in an enhanced understanding of the interface issues and how to manage them in order to address the challenges that we have. And also, we have been able to look at those problems and how it needs to be addressed and who should address them and when it should be addressed, so that we can have a timing and a benchmarking of what needs to be done in order for us to move forward as a group who are working and serving the same client, the home owners. Number two, enhanced land administration regulatory environment. Working in concert with Central Bank of Nigeria, Nigerian Mortgage Refinance Company, Nigerian Housing Finance Program, Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, Mortgage Bank Association, we are addressing the issue of project approval process, title perfection process, construction, titling costs and titling time, modern mortgage and foreclosure laws, etc. This needed to be complement the efforts in the supply side and ensure seamless transaction completion. Most of us have had the challenge over the years of having completed housing. There's a developer here who finished the Yahya Ahmed estate in Abuja for 10 years. The title could not be given to the people, and he was reckoned to be a bad developer. The interest regime on the loan have gone haywire, and he's out of business as I speak, for no fault of his, because the system has not been structurally aligned to ensure that entry and exit is well structured, understood, and be able to be applied by the people who are concerned. Number three, data collection and management. A strong coalition comprising of Federal Ministry of Power, Works and Housing, CBN, World Bank, Federal Mortgage Bank, NMRC, Redan, Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, Nigerian Population Commission. We have been able to create such an organization and spearheaded a national real estate data collection and management program that have been able to garner over hundreds of millions and have been able to get the first data. It is charged with gathering, collecting, processing, and managing real estate data on the administrative data. That is, the land administrators across the 37 land administration units in Nigeria. What are they doing? How are they keeping their records? What are the type of records they have? How many deed of assignment have they been able to register? What is possession time? What is the possession cost for every of the items on their list? What is the ease of doing business? So we are gathering this data with a view to having a peer review mechanism and also giving data for investors and planners to be able to know if we have 17 million housing deficit, where are they located? Is this in Abuja? Is this in Ekiti? Is this in Afara? Is this in Ogoja? Where are they? And what do we need to do? What are the affordability indices for this group? So this data that is so essential and have never existed is what we are trying to get as of now. I was ashamed in 2014 to be there at a forum somewhere out of this country, and two ministers were from Nigeria were addressing an issue and they were giving different set of data for the same issue. It was so embarrassing. But now that problem has been put on the table. Before the end of this year, we are going to have our website on and you'll be able to access this data so that we can speak with one voice and earn the respect of investors from outside. Number 4, advocacy and training. Strong advocacy by the organized real estate sector to ensure the streamlining of the policy directions, especially of the national housing policy and the instance laws or regulations is ongoing. At the same time, in tandem with the Center for Housing Studies of UNILAG, we have succeeded in deepening the competency and skill set of the investors on both the supply and demand side of the housing sector. The death of multidisciplinary and multidimensional leaders in the industry has taken a toll on the sector's effectiveness. Capacity building for artisans is also being progressively addressed through programs like the MBTE Midwife National Skills Qualification Program, which we are working with system to implement in the housing sector. In this regard, we appreciate the support of the National Social Insurance Program of the Buhari administration and the collaboration with the Council of Registered Builders of Nekobon and our own dear institute, the NIOB. Please can we clap for NIOB for that partnership. Number 5, family homes funds. A pool of funds have been created for the supply side financing to complement the activities already ongoing in the demand side through Federal Mortgage Bank and NMRC. A combination of these efforts, when properly streamlined, will ensure the availability of long-term funds for construction finance, mortgage finance, and insurance to make for robustness of the housing sector. Number 6, recapitalization of FMBN. Currently, we have close to 5 million Nigerians contributing 2.5% of their salaries to the National Housing Fund being managed by the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria. And as at yesterday, we have 8.1 trillion being warehoused by the PENCOM. We need to ensure that we recapitalize the Federal Mortgage Bank, which Nigerians, by their contribution, 5 million of them have voted that this is their vehicle for aspiring for mortgage finance. And that is one area that government have agreed that they're going to do that. Also, number 7, private sector initiatives. Over the years, our greatest challenge has been that we have waited on government to be able to be the one that will lead the way. But because of the vicissitude of rapid political changes in parties, changes in the office holders, there cannot be consistency in that program and that policy. And that is why we deeply appreciate the fact that certain private sector individuals, like System of the International Housing Show, are ongoing to ensure that the housing sector is unshackled and perform its lead role in national socio-economic transformation. And that we need to appreciate and have more people coming on this regard. What more do we need to do? We still have many challenges to be dealt with for us to attain the comfort level that will make the housing sector a destination of choice for investors, both on the demand and supply side, and enable it to serve as a vehicle for Nigerian economic development and resurgence. According to the over 250 participants from 53 countries of the world at the recently held 8th Global Housing Finance Conference held in May 2018 in Washington, D.C., the most important impediment to increasing affordable housing supply through PPP were ranked as follows. They were asked a set of questions. Can you rank? I was there, including some ministers. We had a minister from Nigeria. What is the problem with affordable housing booming in your country? And we voted, and we outlined, and the votes are as follows. Inadequate and absent legal and regulatory framework, 29%. Lack of political will on the part of government, 24%. No financing available to developers, 19%. Public sector has capability, but is unwilling to partner with private sector, 10%. What I'm presenting is in your paper. It's neither APC or PDP. It was done in where? In Washington, D.C., for the whole world. So let's take it as verifiable data because it was an instantaneous pool of data. The decade-old practice of referee, let me repeat it again. The decades-old practice of referee, donning a jersey and becoming a player is a recipe for negativism and disaster. Many government agencies in the 90s and early 2000s said they are divesting, we are doing privatization and commercialization of ventures. Today, they are going back. I don't think that the ministry has a role to play in direct construction of houses. I do think that there should be policy, they should create an enabling environment as in other countries and unshackle the sector. The role of the orchestra director in housing development. The Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria is cognizant of its role as the principal agency and umbrella of the organized real estate sector, both public and private, starting with the responsibility of ensuring the availability of housing for all Nigerians. Against this backdrop of a huge housing deficit, infrastructure crisis, dwindling economic resources, and the desire for change in the narrative of Nigerian housing space, we have taken a very hard and critical look at the sector's performance and prospects over the years. The slow pace of economic development and social ills, the recovery in the economy, can be addressed through adequate attention by government and organized private sector to housing. As entrepreneurs, we make sure that houses are built. There is a need to note that the multidisciplinary requirements for a successful real estate development is what has led to the very rich mix of diverse professionals we have today in Redden. I'm proud to say that the past president of NIA is a very strong member of Redden, who is here, the past president of NIA, the past president of NIOB, Bioda Kaoje, is also doing so well. And I'd like to use this opportunity to tell us, I asked somebody today, who is a top professional in the beauty industry, why are you not involved? He said the amount of money required is too much. I stand here to debunk that feeling. We are looking for people who can build 5 housing units, 10 housing units. And as of today, the Family Homes Fund, recently created, and which we are trying to work with them, have funds of over 1 trillion naira that they will start operationalizing from October. What you need is to create the goodwill and environment. You can become a developer with 10 housing units. We have worked with APDC here so that they have sub-developers. You don't have to be the one to get the land or to get the approval process. Come, we have created a growth path, an upward mobile path from 5 units to 10 units to 50 units and up the ladder. And we invite all the professionals to be part so that we don't allow those who have malicious intent to become our boss and direct us in our data provision and service provision in the housing industry. Thank you. Redden members could be rightly referred to as the orchestra directors because we assemble the best team and sitting in the middle to mix the factors of production to ensure harmony in the housing value chain and ensure that all the factors of production are mixed appropriately. To my colleagues, over the past 40 years of my work life, I started in July 1978. I've actively interacted with all the professional groups in the beauty industry, and virtually all of them are men and women of intellect and diverse abilities. They have served meritoriously as data and skilled service providers on many projects and programs. They are all content to be remunerated and live in the shadows of their employers. In the past, majority of the employers were government, ministry, department, and agencies. Alas, with the current trend of privatization and commercialization, the preponderance of their employees with private sector entities. We must join as investors and help shape the future of the emerging trend in the beauty industry and real estate sector. Otherwise, the younger ones coming after us will have a very bleak future. While appreciating the role of builders and other professionals, we make the clear call that those who are members, not members, should make a resolution to partake in the real estate construction of houses. You need to be members of Redden. There is ample opportunity in the housing development industry for all of us. We are the ones who have been waiting for to make the change we desire. The time has come for us to arise and shine. On this note, I want to leave this conference with a note that real estate can help to unleash the potential for growth in Nigeria today, tomorrow, and for generations to come. It was Franz Fanon in his book, The Richard of the Earth, that wrote, and I quote, "Every generation must, out of relative obscurity, discover its mission, either fulfill it or betray it. We shall not betray our mission." Once again, I want to thank my institute for finding me worthy and giving me the honor and privilege to share at this memorable occasion. Together, we shall change the narrative of real estate development and its contribution to the national development. Thank you, and God bless you.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to bring to the front to provide some form of entertainment for us a cultural troupe who is ready to give a display. The cultural troupe, you have the floor. Let's give them a round of applause. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I know it is not easy to jump like that. There was a time I used to do that when I was in secondary school. We used to do Atilogu dancing. And I used to be very good. And I used to run. And after some time, I used to run in my children's school. And I would come first. There was a time it got to a time I built up myself, my reputation as champion. For 3 years I was champion. So the 4th year I did not say, champion has come again. Let him run, he will still beat everybody. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the champion could not rise on that day. My legs were like steel. Since that day I just told them that I have just voluntarily retired from running, so that they will know that I won't run again. It is not very convenient. So let's give them another round of applause. Thank you very much for your patience. We are gradually running off the program. We'd like to take, for a brief time now before we do some award presentation, we'd like to have some goodwill messages. And I would like to start with the representative of the Honorable Minister of FCT. Your goodwill message, sir. Let's give him a round of applause as he comes here. Let's give him a round of applause, please. You're welcome, sir.
Mr. Chairman of the occasion, the National President of Nigerian Institute of Building, past President of NIOB, fellows, esteemed members of NIOB, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost, I want to clear a breach of protocol. I am here today not representing the Honorable Minister, but the coordinator of Abuja Metropolitan Management Council. Because I am not what I am not, and let me make it clear. However, I find it worthy to say something on behalf of FCT. First and foremost, my name is Town Planner Mukhtar Usman Galadima, the Director of Department of Development Control. The theme of this year's conference, which is housing sector in national economic development, is apt, considering the policy of the government for economic recovery and economic growth plan. And we in the FCT, we consider the role of builders in the development of the new national capital as outstanding, because without builders, we cannot be here celebrating this occasion. Over the years, we have established a cordial relationship with the respective noble professional bodies, most especially Nigerian Institute of Building, because at the various times in the life of FCT, these noble professionals play a great role to make FCT what it is today. And building on this relationship, we can see far ahead of us that we can achieve better and greater impetus. So we are calling on these noble professionals to partner with us to do away with quacks and quackery, to engender professionalism, and to step out the incidents of building collapse. We shall also continue to partner with you, most especially in areas of training and retraining of our manpower. As a government, just like any other endeavor, our challenges are multifaceted. However, we are doing it in a more modest way to improve our services to the generality of Nigerians residing in the FCT through improvement in our land administration system, development permit process, environmental sanitation, water supply, and security apparatus. Today's gathering and this year's conference, we see it as an important occasion to rub minds, to share ideas on how to improve our society, not only the building industry, but the society in general. At this point in time, I would like to wish on behalf of my bosses and pray that this year's conference, we shall have some fruitful deliberations and understanding that could enhance the livability of our cities and our environment. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. That was okay. Now he has corrected the protocol. We are very sorry about that. Well, I would like to also bring up to the microphone again, now to give a goodwill message because of this special occasion. The president of APBN, sir, Dr. Idris Omeide, now to give goodwill message. Let's give him a round of applause. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, all other protocols duly observed. Like you said, my name is Dr. Omeide Idris, a past president of Nigerian Medical Association and currently president of Association of Professional Bodies of Nigeria. Let me begin by congratulating NIOB once more for this conference. The Nigerian Institute of Building is a member of Association of Professional Bodies of Nigeria, and a lot of professional member bodies in the built industry that are members of that association. But for want of time, I won't list them here. I think the importance of an association of professional body at this time of our development cannot be overemphasized, because many of our bodies have operated in their silos, and that has not given us the needed synergy, the needed mutual relationship that we require to develop on our economy, to develop our nation and grow our nation as is desirable. It is quite clear that professionals anywhere in the world are the key ingredient for development in any nation. And Nigeria, with our pride of professionals that we have no business, no reason whatsoever not to have gone beyond where we are today. Let us at this time begin to reason that, let us use our little differences and similarities to chart a course, to have a common voice, to aggregate our views, and make our positions known to the government while we operate even in our professional associations and our business enclave. We believe this is a way to go, having tried what we have been doing individually all this while and have not succeeded the much that we do. Individually, professionals have excelled as individuals, but as a body, we have not made that exhaustion, and this is not good for a nation. Let it be that it's professionalism that is recognized, not the individual person as an individual. This is a way that we think we can make our country greater and be at the point of considerations of governance and leadership. Professionals, wherever they are, we call on them, even in position of government, to align and relate with our professional member bodies. We are not antagonistic to government. I think what we are is to advise and be a catalyst to government to deliver on our own mandate. If we look at it from that point of view, we believe very well that we can make greater opportunities for Nigerians, make better opportunities for professionals, and have professionals in the key places. The keynote speaker has said so much things. I think we really need to take the bull by the horn and do what is desirable for us so that we can chase away the quacks who have taken the mainstream in most places because we have remained dormant, laissez-faire for quite some time. We think and we believe that the built industry, just like other industries or professional sectors in this country, will do a long way by working together, using the forms of regulation that has some deficiencies. But let us convert those deficiencies to some positive sides while we work on opportunities of regularizing or correcting some deficiencies that have come in because of the interplay between legislation and professionals. Legislations are busy trying to solve, to make sure that they are able to pass bills on their own, as that is their own mandate. It is for us as professionals to carry everybody along to ensure that the wrongs that have been done in terms of editing or creating laws for us are corrected at the primary stage. This is the responsibility for all of us as professionals, and I believe we can do it. Let it be an eye-opener for all of us. That is our duty as a group, as a professionals, to make sure that we're able to do this, and together we'll be able to ensure that Nigeria holds its professionals accountable and the professionals hold the government accountable. Situations where we do not have joint ventures, where professionals or Nigerians are key inside it, or foreign professionals come to take our responsibilities, it is not good, it is not appropriate for us. Even if Nigerian professionals do not have the resources, there should be an enclave somewhere where they could have a provisions for those that have the resources that are coming to invest in our country, have an inbuilt offer professional into it. That takes us to the Executive Order 5 that talks about local content. I hope we'll be able to manage and operate that executive order appropriately. Let it not just be partial. And APBN has been advocating that that needs to be done. I want to thank you once more, and I wish us a very successful outing in this conference. Thank you, and God bless.
Mr. Chairman, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. On a lighter note, I thought the pronunciation of my name back home would have stayed with me, not knowing that's traveled with me even to Nigeria. Back home, the Ewe call or pronounce my name Kwati. The Twi say Kwati. And now an additional one, Kwatri. My name is Kwati. Thank you very much. I bring you greetings from the Chartered Institute of Building, Ghana, specifically the Accra Hub Committee of the Sub-Saharan Africa. I consider this opportunity one that lays a foundation for future collaborations in the spirit of professional development. The issue of housing is a lifelong matter that will forever engage our minds and effort so far as we live. In 1963, Charles Abraham opened that, and I quote, "Failure to settle the problems of land distribution and housing in the world's cities threatens not only the developing world, it also threatens world stability," unquote. It was also suggested in a publication by the World Bank that the urban poverty will become the most significant and politically explosive problem in the 21st century. Mr. Chairman, the world is facing a global housing crisis. In cities around the world, almost 1 billion people live in substandard housing without clean water or adequate sanitation. More than 14 million refugees and internally displaced people live in tents or other temporary structures. Millions of homeless men, women, and children live in the streets of Washington, D.C., Sao Paulo, Brazil, Johannesburg, South Africa, and Mumbai, India, and other cities. And the problem is getting worse. Every week, more than 1 million people are born in or move to cities in the developing world, driving up the need for a new and a better housing. Mr. Chairman, the international response to the housing crisis has been muted. While many international donors have helped develop effective models for housing policies and programs, the scale of the application has not been large enough to significantly affect housing outcomes. Many international institutions have turned away from the housing sector over the past 15 years. Some successful programs were not widely replicated, while others withered as donor funding shifted towards other priorities. The result has been assistance strategies that miss important opportunities for advancing economic, social, and civic development. And many national and local housing institutions have not maintained the commitment or sustained level of intervention needed to make a substantial difference in the housing outcomes. The result is a growing crisis. Mr. Chairman, housing is a key input in economic, social, and civic development. Many housing-related activities contribute directly to achieving broader socio-economic development goals. Housing investment is a major driver of economic growth. Better data permits more precise estimates in developed countries. But the same overall effect is true in developing countries like ours. In the United States, housing directly contributes 14% of GDP and triggers another 6% on average downstream expenditures. Lending for housing helps develop primary and secondary financial markets. Worldwide, and especially in low-income countries, housing construction creates job opportunities for migrants to cities. Legalization of informal settlements and registration of housing and other real property helps unlock fixed capitals for productive investment and builds local property tax bases. Mr. Chairman, on the social side, housing is after food and medical care, the first need of vulnerable populations following natural and man-made disasters. In better times, good housing builds wealth by appreciating in value, providing a hedge against inflation, providing secure premises for income-generating activities, and opening the door to credit. Incremental investments in housing allows poor families to improve their asset base over time as resources become available. And clean, warm housing is an essential input for prevention and care of diseases of poverty like HIV/AIDS, tuberculosis, diarrhea, and malaria. Housing is also an effective way to promote good governance. The need to improve housing conditions stimulates civil organizations, housing associations, community-based organizations that act as incubators for elected representation. Investing in housing expands the local tax base, thereby facilitating the emergence of autonomous and responsive local governments. Safe homes and neighborhoods in which residents are satisfied with housing conditions and public services help build social stability and security. Mr. Chairman, despite the clear evidence of the linkages between housing and socioeconomic goals, many policymakers and practitioners are not taking advantage of them. In many countries around the world, opportunities to achieve economic, social, and civic development goals through housing-related activities are being missed. Good models include USAID housing Guaranteed Property Program, which helped develop institutional and policy frameworks for low-income housing, slum upgrading, and neighborhood infrastructure. World Bank programs to reform housing markets, remove bureaucratic obstacles, enable housing production by private sector builders and developers. National efforts to increase access to housing finance as championed by the United Nations Center for Human Settlements, Indians Housing Development Finance Corporation, and other institutions. Local initiatives as championed by city alliances, sister cities, and growing number of innovative municipal leaders, and targeted subsidies such as those that have enabled an average daily production of 500 new houses for low-income families in South Africa since 1994. Mr. Chairman, the way forward to dealing with the housing problems in our countries is collaboration among states, the private sector, and non-governmental organizations. It is my wish that we come to this knowledge soon enough to maximize the gain thereof. Mr. Chairman, before I humbly take my seat, may I take this opportunity to inform this August meeting of an illustrious son of the nation, Professor Charles Egbu, Dean of School of Built Environment and Architecture, London South Bank University, UK, Fellow of RICS, Fellow of APAM, Fellow of RSA, Fellow of HEA, and finally, Fellow of CIOB, is currently the Senior Vice President of CIOB. I am proud to say that Professor Charles Egbu will be the first African to head the Institute in the year 2019. I hope this feat will spur us on to renew our membership with the Institute for better days. Mr. Chairman, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I wish you a fruitful conference and look forward to possible collaborations between our institutions. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. I'd like to briefly bring to the microphone for his own goodwill message the President of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, the person of Engineer Adekunle Mokolu, Fellow Nigerian Society of Engineers, Fellow Academy of Engineering. Let's give him a round.
Thank you very much, my brother. The chairman of this occasion, an APPM president, Dr. Idris Omede, the president of Institution of Building, Nigerian Institution of Building, Builder Kenneth Nnabuife Nduka, and other past presidents of NIOB here present. Fellows, you are not so many, so I need to recognize you and congratulations, you are very distinguished. And members of NIOB here and ladies and gentlemen. Now, mine is a goodwill message. I will only take 1 minute. And the goodwill message is that on behalf of the entire council members and the membership of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, we congratulate the Nigerian Institute of Building for this 48th conference of the Institute and also the 50th anniversary of the Institute. This is no mean achievement. However, for everything in life, there is no permanent state, and that means there are also areas of improvement. So it's in this that the Nigerian Society of Engineers, since my time from January this year, I made a promise that the engineers in Nigeria, and particularly members of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, will be professionals indeed. And with that, I mean that when you are a professional, whatever you want to do, you have to call a professional in that field. Because essentially, the meaning of a quack, it's not that the person does not know how to do a particular thing, is that the person does not have the license to do that particular thing. And so it was when one of our projects that have been abandoned for about 5 years, when I was about to kickstart it, I called the contractor. I said, look, we are owing you this much and I want to pay you in the next 1 week. Where is your builder? The man said, does he have a builder? And I said, well, I'll give you just 1 week to be. He said, no, there's one engineer that is in charge. I said, no, that man is an engineer, he's not a builder. You can ask him, I'll give, you see, because I'm saying this so as to encourage us, that we just don't only talk. Let us walk our talk in our very small places, and the aggregate of it will have the desired effect we've been crying about over these years. Because no chain is stronger than its weakest link. There is no way Nigerian engineers can be building and we expect that there will be houses in Nigeria. It's not possible. All of us have to do what we need to do in our own area of expertise, in our own area of calling and professionalism, in our own area of licensing, to be able to make things work. Those people we look at as developed countries, that is what is exactly happening in them. And there's a sanction for those who are infringing on other people's profession. And I'll give you the good news. Within 1 week, the man brought a builder into the site. And he received his money. Now, the other thing I want to say is that this collaboration that we have just started, I'm pleading that members should make it sustainable, in the sense that by the time we call each other to practice in the area of core competence, there's enough for all of us. Because there is one thing that we need to learn from the comedians. Do you know that as very informal as that profession is now, do you know that now they have a license? Before you can become a comedian, you now have to be licensed. And if you are in a place, you see a senior comedian in the midst, you have to pay respect to that senior comedian. And one of the things I want to leave us with is that we should respect our seniors. We should respect our elders. And that's the reason why I salute the fellow. The last thing is that communique is a very, very brilliant and effective communique is going to come from this conference, judging from the keynote address that we just received. I want us, please, to send out communique to the Nigerian Society of Engineers. We shall partner with you to make sure we rivet this communique into what is happening in the country. Once again, congratulations.
Thank you very much. So, a quack, there can be a professional quack. Agreed? So, if an architect decides to do the work of a builder, it becomes a quack. To that degree. And if an engineer decides to do the work of a builder, it becomes a quack. And the same vein, if a builder decides to do the work of a QS, it becomes a quack. So let everybody stay in his own field of core calling, and then we'll make tremendous progress. Thank you so very much. I'd like to call on another core professional, the president of the Nigerian Institution of Quantity Surveyors, QS Obafemi Onoshile, fellow Nigerian Institute of Conservators, ably represented by the Abuja Chapter Chairman, QS Osaritin Okoro, fellow Nigerian Institute of Conservators, to give his own goodwill message.
The chairman of the occasion, the president of the Nigerian Institute of Building, please permit me to stand on the existing protocol. I'm delighted and greatly honored to be in your midst today as the Nigerian Institute of Building holds its 48th Builders Conference / Annual General Meeting 2018. On behalf of the President, Nigerian Institute of Conservators, who is unavoidably absent because he has another engagement this moment at Ile-Ife, University of Ife, and members of the Nigerian Institute, I congratulate you for the giant stride the NOB has taken in the last 50 years of its existence. The importance of housing cannot be overemphasized in the economic development of a developing country like ours, since the housing sector served as the bedrock of the economy of most developed countries. Investment in housing affects every aspect of human life because of the multiplier effect it has on the economy. The sector serves as an important tool in stimulating growth and development. It has the potential to generate employment opportunities, increase productivity, and raise the standard of living of citizens, thereby alleviating poverty in the land. To provide Nigeria with the needed building infrastructure, the role of a trained professional like the builders, who is responsible for building production, management, construction, and maintenance of existing buildings, becomes indispensable. It is imperative for the profession to enhance emerging technologies to acquaint our members in the construction of new buildings, maintenance of existing buildings by appropriate techniques. In many emerging economies of the world, governments in those countries have to make a deliberate effort by engaging experts, policy analysts, and professional bodies in the housing sector, devoid of political gimmicks, to look for ways to overcome housing challenges in their countries because of the compelling role housing plays in nation GDP. Very recent example is India, who Nigeria overtook not long ago as the country with the highest number of extremely poor people in the world, with an estimated 87 million Nigerians thought to be living on less than $1.9 a day, according to findings based on a projection by the World Poverty Clock. For Nigeria to come out from this shackle, government must make conscious efforts and processes required in housing production. As professionals in the construction industry, we have a collective responsibility to make sure that the industry strives and must always train and retrain ourselves for the challenges ahead. We must come together to put pressure on government to make sustainable policies that meet global best practices. I wish to congratulate the Nigerian Institute of Building for this general meeting and conference, and I wish you all a fruitful deliberation. Thank you.
Let's give him a round of applause. If it were possible, maybe I would have loved to be a professional QS, as a professional builder, and then a professional architect, and then a professional engineer, and then a professional town planner, and a professional surveyor, and then a professional estate valuer. I wonder where I will be able to practice all of them together. What I'm saying in essence is, if there's room for all, the entire sky is large enough for all birds to fly without hitting one another. There is more than enough room for all of us to play on. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say that as we are in Nigeria today, we do not even have enough professionals to handle everything that we need to handle. So there is more than enough room for all of us. So let's give it up for ourselves as we continue to collaborate and work together, synergize, and get the work done. Thank you very much. I would like to just bring to the microphone to give his own goodwill message, the representative of the Director General of the National Directorate of Employment, in person of Mr. Augustine Akahalu, an Assistant Director in the Directorate, to come to give his goodwill message. Let's give him a round of applause. You are welcome, sir.
All protocols observed. I am Augustine Akahalu, Assistant Director, National Directorate of Employment, NDE, representing the Director General, Madam Mohamed Ladan Agungu. Due to his official engagement, he was absent to this occasion. On behalf of my directorate, I appreciate the Nigerian Institute of Building for organizing this unique conference. And we from NDE are happy to associate with the Institute and look forward for more cooperation and collaboration. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, I'd like to bring up to the microphone now the Managing Director of Telesin Nigeria Limited to come to give his own goodwill message. Your answer. Let's give him a round of applause.
Good afternoon, all. The President, Nigerian Institute of Building, and my brother. All protocols duly observed. May I congratulate the President and members of the NIOB for a very well-planned 48th annual conference and the 50th anniversary today. As you know, in 2015, under the leadership of the former President, Bill Ashwaibu, we were endorsed by NIOB, and I represent a product called sodium wood preservative. Every one of us here knows. It's even used by the Queen of England. It's used in the presidency. It's used in every home across Nigeria. So I represent a generation, and I thank NIOB for the partnership and endorsement they've granted us since 2015. Indeed, he's been working. From our partnership, we have widened the knowledge of the use of the Sodignon Wood Preservative brand, and have curbed adulteration in a large extent through the ideas from the NIOB. It is important to state that sometimes a lot of people who are in the private sector think they do not have something in common with organizations like this. Far from it. In fact, we are also planning a very big collaboration with Redan. The president of Redan is here. We are working on it. We are talking on it. We are hoping that very soon we could be able to come up with a good development that could benefit every home built in the country. Indeed, we wish you a very fruitful deliberation, and thank you very much.
Let's give it up to him once again. We thank you. Sorry, I'd like to just introduce one of us who came in a while ago. This gentleman is a sitting commissioner in Oyo State, in my state. And he's been a sitting commissioner for 8 years running. I'd like to recognize Builder Bimbola David Kolade, fellow Nigerian Institute of Building. You are welcome. Thank you very much. I'd like to bring up to the microphone the representative of FOSI, sir, to come to give a goodwill message. Let's give him a round of applause as he comes. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, kindly permit me to stand on the established protocol. I'm presenting a goodwill message from the Director General, Federation of Construction Industry, Engineer Mrs. Olubunmi Adekoje. My name is Tunde Adekimi. I'm a director of the Federation of Construction Industry. I congratulate the Nigerian Institute of Building on the 48th Builder Conference and Annual General Meeting. I'm particularly delighted at the focus of this conference, which centers on the housing sector in national economic development, which ordinarily entails the requirement of attention or action of builders in the building conglomerate. The building and the construction sector is one of the 5 sectors used in measuring the national gross capital formation and the gross domestic product of any country. And with the rising emphasis and growing interest of the Nigerian Institute of Building, the future growth of construction as a tool for sustainable economic development is somewhat optimistic. There is no saying the fact that the major challenges of housing development in the country are financing, affordability, and acceptability. And I sincerely believe that the theme of this Congress will focus on addressing these challenges and building to the taste of the home seekers. The Federation of Construction Industry, as the employer organization for the organized companies and stakeholders in the construction industry in Nigeria, is presently in collaboration with relevant stakeholders in the construction industry to standardize apprenticeship training and the training of the construction industry workforce to provide the required skills in the industry. We celebrate the glorious legacy that continues to inspire us, and we share with NIOB our unbounded optimism in our continued impact and relevance in shaping and enriching the building and construction industry in Nigeria. I wish you a successful deliberation. Thank you.
Sorry, let's not get tired. Let's give him a round of applause. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to also bring up the representative of the Managing Director and CEO of Sterling Bank PLC, Ms. Aisha, to come and give a goodwill message. Let's go ahead.
In the name of God, the most beneficent, the most merciful, we seek His guidance and forgiveness. Mr. Chairman, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to stand on existing protocol. I bring you greetings from my Managing Director, CEO, Mr. Abubakar Suleiman. I congratulate NEOB on this auspicious occasion of the 48th conference and 50th anniversary. Excuse me. At Sterling Bank, we are stakeholders when it comes to the housing sector. We recognize the role the builders especially play in this sector. In 2007, we won the Housing Friendly Commercial Bank of the Year Award from the Abuja International Housing Show. So why I'm highlighting this is to tell all present that we recognize the importance of builders in national development and the impact of your team for this occasion. Thank you very much. I wish you successful deliberations. Once again, congratulations from Sterling Bank. I'm Aisha Tadaviruku.
All at once, our chapter chairmen that are seated here today, I'd like for them to just rise for recognition while we give them a rousing welcome. All these chapter chairmen here seated, God bless you. Thank you very much. At this juncture, ladies and gentlemen, we'll go straight to the presentation of service medals to the past presidents. And I'd like at this point to hand over the microphone to the president of the Nigerian Institute of Building, Builder Kenneth Unduka, to do justice to this. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Are we together? Good. Before I hand over this microphone for the next program on the agenda, I want us to take mental notes of one or two things. One of the mental notes I want us to take is that the first president of Nigerian Institute of Building, Baba Ochikoya, personally called in this morning and asked me to convey his blessings and his regards for this institute and this profession now that we are 50 years. And he also asked me to extract commitment from all of us that this candle that our forebears has lit and handed over to us, that it will not be extinguished. What message are you telling me to give back to him? Shall we allow it to fail? Shall we allow the light to dim? Shall we allow the flame to extinguish? Thank you very much. The second something I want us to take mental note of, is that for the first time in the AGMs being held by this institute, we are having here 9 past presidents of this NROB seated on this. I want to remind us that when I took over, I told us that I will do everything possible with your support to get us all back in one direction. And I want us to take the mental note that all the past presidents, except Builder Shaib, who also called me this morning, is on his way traveling out of this country like yesterday. Builder, I've talked about Baba Oshikoye. Builder Arile Shele, apart from that, and all those past presidents who have God has called to join him, the only people who are not here. And I am using this opportunity to Builder Lasabi, Dr. Jambo, Dr. Bamishile, my own Omoba, Prof. Mwazu, Professor Wahab, Builder Obiemu, Builder Bala Kaoje, Builder Chuks Omife, and past chairman of Kobon, who is here, representing the ancient and the modern, and all senior colleagues, especially our fellows who are here. I thank you people most immensely. I'm saying this now, it's something I need to say when we get the dinner. But I need to say it because it gives me great joy that I'm seeing these faces that I have related with for the past 40 years, sitting here with me. I'm still propelling. As I yesterday, Omaba had to call me to say, I am already in town. I'm not his mate age-wise, but it is this institute that is being honored. As you people honored this institute, I pray that God will honor all of you one by one in Jesus' name. Because of that, and we have decided last year, for those who had some doubts, Nigerian Institute of Building became 50 years in 2017. Last year, the challenges we had did not allow us to celebrate it, or at least to make it formal. What we could do was that we were able to raise an anniversary cake. And that was why I said we don't cut anniversary cake twice. That's why we did not provide an anniversary cake today. But we felt that people should know that we've come of age. And we felt that our members, our past leaders who served us, should be able to take something home. That when we come for functions, they will wear it on them and appreciate the fact that they are recognized for having served this institute. And that is the reason why the next action or program we have now on the agenda has to do with presentation of medals, service medals, to these our past presidents, in recognition of the fact that we are smiling today because they cried yesterday. We are recognized today because they were dishonored in time past. We know that there are so many of them that were victimized because they were flying the flag of NROB very high in their workplaces. Today, all of us are enjoying the benefit because they worked and toiled under sweat and sun. So I will hand over the microphone to the College of Fellows Chairman And as we call them out, my seniors, please, I want you to oblige me the request that you should come up and receive these service medals. Thank you very much.
Thank you, our own very dear President. There is nothing that I enjoy better than to be calling my elders here. When I hold the microphone, I hold all the authority. And this has been passionately given to me by the chairman of this occasion. Am I right, sir? Thank you. I don't know whether he has given it or not, but I have usurped it. Having said that, I want to proudly and passionately and sentimentally present these our forefathers to you. The President has said it, that we are smiling today because they cried yesterday. They toiled with all the resources that they had. They ran around. We're celebrating today because they built a foundation that we are now building upon. Without their efforts, there wouldn't be a 45th or 48th conference. So I think, even before I start calling them, they deserve a round of applause. I will therefore proudly present to them, and the ushers, are you ready? Because I want them to file out, even as I call them, in order of their service years. I want to call on Builder Professor Kunle Adewaha. Coming closely behind him, I want also to passionately call my own supervisor, Professor Dalha Muazu. I then want to call upon the celebrant of yesterday, Builder Adewale Otolami, Omoba himself. Next, I want to call upon Builder Dr. Ayo Bamishi. My own chairman, in one capacity that I would not disclose here, Builder Micah Ubi. Walking closely behind him, the Honorable himself, Builder Bala Kauji. The lines seem to be okay. There are just 9 of them. I also want to call the immediate past Chairman, College of Fellows, Builder D.D. Jambu. We had a chairman, Builder Olufemi Okikiolu of blessed memory. We had Builder Michael Elebiju. We had Builder Emmanuel Ajala. We had our own very dear Baba Oye, Builder Temitayo Oyefeko. We had Builder Fola Udufuye. We also had Builder Gbadebo Ademoruti. We had Builder Sonny Gumel. Those ones have rested from their labors, but their works live after them. The celebration of today is one of their works that live after them. And because of that, I want us to all rise and be silent just for a moment in honor of the memory of our departed heroes who fought gallantly for the recognition of this profession. Shall we be silent for a moment? May their gallant souls continue to rest in peace. Now, these ones that are here are being celebrated. My president said when the Honorable Builder Bimbo Kolade came in, he said, we have to celebrate those who are our own. We have to celebrate these fathers. And then, I think we should wonder, here are the fathers. Where are the mothers? When these ones were fighting, where were the mothers? We were there. Elijah, were we not there? Yes. Well, we were not old enough to be called mothers at that time. There were three of us, three musketeers. Myself, Mrs. Bolaniwa, Mrs. Elijah. We were running errands for these men, and we did it joyfully. But I think today, God has endowed us with some gray hair, and we can safely be referred to as mothers of the profession. Thank you, thank you, thank you, we appreciate that. Now, I want to proudly invite the president here, and the chairman of this occasion, and also the keynote speaker, to come down and celebrate these ones. If we celebrate them from now till the end of the conference, it is not enough for what they have done for us. I like the speech of the NSC president. We struggled. Now, we're not struggling to be engineers. We're not struggling to be architects. We are builders, and we are proud to be builders. The president NSC was my classmate in the primary school. He's my childhood friend. He chose to become an engineer. I chose to become a builder. And today, we are in this built environment together. And none of us is a quack. He is an engineer. I am a builder. Mr. President, sir, shall you go down and proudly present each and every one of this father to be decorated?
Please, I would wish members of the high table to join me. Please, let us do honor to whom honor is due. Prof, please, I want all of us to join me, because I'm talking to people who are too senior to me. I cannot just talk to them without having your support. Everybody, please come down. I think these, our past presidents, are jolly good fellows. I think these our past presidents are jolly good fellows. For they are jolly good. For they are jolly good. For they are jolly good fellows. I say all of us. And say all of us. And say all of us. For they are jolly good fellows. For fellows, for they are jolly good fellows. And say all of us. Hip, 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 hip. Hooray. Hip, 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 hip. Hooray. Hip, 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 hip. Hooray. Yes. Thank you very much for giving me the joy, the joy, making my joy complete by being with me. So, my dear Professor Wahab, the first professor of building in Africa. On behalf of all members of Nigerian Institute of Building, we want to appreciate you. We want to honor you. We want to tell you that all our members here have told me to tell you that they are proud of you and that the service you honor to the Institute will not be in vain. Thank you very much. On behalf of members of Nigerian Institute of Building, I decorate you with this medal, this service, medal of service. Dear Professor Mwasi, I felt very moved when the Chairman College of Fellows supervised our project. And I must tell you, one beautiful thing I come to appreciate about these our elders is that at any point you call them. When you have challenges or you want to discuss issues, you call them. They will always answer. Professor Mwasi, congratulations. On behalf of the Nigerian Institute of Building, I decorate you with this medal of service. I don't know what to say other than to be smiling. But I will say, Omoba, NIOB, we appreciate you. Your service can never be in vain. This, at least by this decoration, we want you to know that we appreciate the deposit you gave to this institute. Thank you very much and congratulations. Everyone here, when there's one uniqueness, when Dr. Bamishile, see two of them there. Let me use the opportunity to talk about these two people. These two people gave this institute what many people never thought. When our people left, our senior colleagues left, by age and by... They came in and found it very necessary to change situations and paradigms. They introduced, by that time when we come for meeting or we're going out, people will say, hey, builders, bricklayers, fencing, this, and supervisors. But when he came and started giving, is it like construction? Where you worked at in London? Land construction. And he started giving us ideas, and the ideas he was giving was being collaborated by the seniors. We knew that we were going somewhere. And they started using their biro to dispatch the epistle of the relevance of building as a profession. Builder Bamishi, I, on behalf of members of Nigerian Institute of Building and the senior fellows, senior past presidents, whom I derive authority from, I think I'm okay, sir. Permit me to decorate you with this service medal. When you talk of NIOB in the southeast of the country and south-south, there is one man that we call in the night, he will answer. You call him very early in the morning, he will answer. And you tell him that you have 2 places to represent you with a speech within a tickle of an eye, he has sent them by email to you. That is Dr. Micah Obiogu for you, the past president of Nigerian Institute of Building. And I want to use this honor, this privilege given to me by these senior members and my colleagues around to honor you for the good deeds you've done for the elevation of the status of this institute in Nigeria. Thank you very much. Bala Bawa Kaoje. I think I got it. Bala Bawa Kaoje. Yes. Well, many of us will not know what is happening. There are some people that are smooth operators. And Bala Bawa Kaoje is one of the smooth operators we have. Whenever we have any issue that has to do with the laws, oppressing builders in a system, politics, he will be where he is and he takes a message. If you like, stay in the water, let soap enter your eye. I know that is a remote instruction. And in all situations, when we have, even where there is no family that doesn't have problems, when we have family problems and he notices it, he will call you and say, look at this, take care of this, don't do this, one goal, one focus. Balaka Oje, we don't need to write those things down, but opportunity like this manifests for us to honor, recognize and honor such attributes and contributions. Thank you very much. And on behalf of NIOB, I so decorate you. I must tell us that NIOB was operating on free speed. That is, what do you call it when you disengage? Auto cruise. And Mutumbiu, as I usually call him, came in and said, no, we must have a steer. And he tried his best to ensure that we have a 5-year development plan. That program was on before he came in, but when he came in, he gave it impetus. And he never left the institute until that 5-year development plan strategic plan was activated. And that alone has changed the momentum in terms of organizational performance and manifestation of the institute. Builder Dr. D.D. Jambo, on behalf of Nigerian Institute of Building, I so present you with this honor and decoration. see these two people that are here, you see that they are the shortest men on this group. They are competing for heights. You know, one is corporately dressed native, the other one is corporately dressed in the Western style. Always. Builder Chuks Omife. I think the face of NIOB in terms of publicity became widest when Chuks Omife became president. Because every time you see him on AIT, you see him on NTA, you see him on channels, Silverbird, what is he talking? He's talking about building. What is he talking? He's projecting the ideas that our past presidents have situated. He's propelling the speed that's required to take us to the next level. And because of that, Builder Chuks Omife, on behalf of Nigerian Institute of Building, I am decorating you with this Medal of Service in honor of your past activities. I've tried to explain, describe Tundela Shabi, but there's one dimension of Tundela Shabi that you don't know. Tundela Shabi is a stickler for artisan development. It was during his period that this institute had the opportunity of projecting to the world that provision made in the National Building Code, that builders are in charge of artisans and craftsmen. He saw it, he seized it, he propelled it, and it came to be that builders were in a position to train about 1,000 artisans and craftsmen in building trades in the whole of the Federation. It is to his credit that that thing was successful. So, on behalf of Nigerian Institute of Building, I congratulate you and do decorate you with this Medal of Honor. I will not say that it is all, but I want us to stay clear from these people and let us capture them with their medals, well displayed, because this is unique. This is unique. Should I? You should come there. You should come.
These are the recipients that are here present. There are some who have communicated with the sitting president and they are not here, but we will still present their medals. May I humbly invite Builder Mrs. Bolariwa to stand in for Builder Otuba Fatai Ishola Oshikoya. May I also invite Builder Dada of Kano. We have many Dadas. Builder Dada of Kano to stand in for Builder TB Shuaib. And also invite a past chairman of Lagos State Chapter, Builder Mrs. Nike Said, to stand in for Builder Anile Shiri.
Is the chairman of the Kano State Chapter here? Kano State Chapter, the chairman, are you here? On behalf of the Institute, Builder Mrs. Bolariwa, we decorate Baba Oshikoya's medal. We hand over the decoration of Baba Oshikoya's medal to receive and convey it on his behalf. Kindly communicate to him that the labors of our heroes past can never be in vain.
Wow!
Builder Arune Shele, who is inadvertently absent here, we are recognizing your labors of the past, and by this ceremony we are handing over this medal to you through Builder Said, past chairman of Lagos State, to convey to you the appreciation of all members of Nigerian Institute of Building for the services you've rendered to this institute, to the glory of God. Builder Abalaka, are you here? Abalaka? Huh? Please come. Builder Abalaka, permit us to hand over this medal to you on behalf of Builder T.Y. Shahid, T.B. Shahid. I need to mention T.B. Shahid, further on T.B. Shahid, because there was this dream of having a house, an office, permanent office for NIOB. And all of us were being cosmetic about it, or we are massaging the idea until T.B. Shoaib manifested on the scene. And he did one dramatic thing. And that dramatic thing was that we are members of council, but before we could say Jack Robinson, the first council meeting we were told that you have made the mortgage deposit for the builder's house. And all of us became committed. And one beautiful thing I want to tell every builder here is that when I assumed office, I keyed into it and taxed my members that even some levels of allowances we had to cut ourselves, deny ourselves. And as you are sitting here, you have wholly owned that building without any encumbrance. Special appreciation to all those people who keyed into the vision of Builder T.B. Shoaib and all those fellows who committed 100,000 at least. I have to tell them minimum. I have to appreciate them. So the appreciation for Shoaib is multi-barrel in the sense that he excited all of you into believing in one cause that eventually delivered us a permanent house of our own. Builder Shoaib, that's represented by Builder Abalaka. We appreciate you. So having said that, I will hand over the microphone. I will hand over the microphone to Builder Professor Chief Wahab to respond if anything we have done wrong as a teacher. Hide the cane. And,
my president and the president of NIO, 2018 to 20 edition. I'm sure very soon you'll be lying on this side of the at the past president. But we don't lie. You are more corporate than all of us. You know, we are retired teachers.
Not tired.
By God's grace, we are still alive.
Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, and men of Timber and Caliber here and my colleagues, on your behalf, let me just say a very, very simple thank you for this initiative of yours, and I know that you have carried the entire expo of NROB along with you. And of course, God is the #1 person that's guiding you in all you're doing. I'm very proud of you. And I think that if you think we have done anything, you are going to do much, much better than us. And I'm saying that in the name of Jesus Christ. Thank you, sir.
Members of the high table, please come and join us to take pictures so that we record the history.
I also like to call on the Vice Chancellor of Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria in Kaduna State, or his representative, is here, representative of the Vice Chancellor of Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. It's okay. I'll also like to call on the Vice Chancellor or his representative of the University of Jos. Vice Chancellor or his representative of the University of Jos. The Vice Chancellor or his representative of the Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife in Osun State. The VC of OAU or his representative. The Vice Chancellor or his representative of the Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Awka, in Anambra State. You're welcome. The Vice Chancellor or his representative, thank you, you're welcome, of the Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University in Bauchi State. VC or his representative of Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University in Bauchi State. The Vice Chancellor or his representative of the University of Uyo, Akwa Ibom State. VC or his representative of the University of Uyo in Akwa Ibom State. The rector or his representative of the Yaba College of Technology, Yaba Lagos. The rector or his representative of the Yaba College of Technology, Yaba Lagos. The rector or his representative of the Institute of Management Technology, IMT, Enugu, in Enugu State. The rector or the representative of IMT, Enugu in Enugu State. The rector or his representative of the Kaduna Polytechnic, Kaduna. You're welcome. The rector or his representative of the Federal Polytechnic, Auchi, in Edo State. The rector or his representative. So you are. It's okay, it's all right. Oh, it's okay, you're welcome, sir. The rector or his representative of the Polytechnic Ibadan. The rector or his representative of the Polytechnic Ibadan, or your state. Then the rector or his representative of the Federal Polytechnic, Oko, in Anambra State. Federal Polytechnic, Oko, in Anambra State. And then the representative of or even the DG or the representative of the National Board for Technical Education, NBTE. The DG or his representative of the Federal Board of Technical Education. And then the representative of the Nigerian University of the National University Commission, representative of the head of the National University Commission. Mr. President, sir, I hereby present these awardees unto you for the award.
Ladies and gentlemen, professional colleagues, I know that we wouldn't have made this number if the people that are standing here or the people they are representing did not pass through thick and thin to produce us. The Nigerian Institute of Building and builders generally are products of higher institutions. You have to pass through a higher institution accredited by either NUC or MBTE for you to be acceptably registered with Nigerian Institute of Building. And the schools we've mentioned, that we called out, it's not that they're the only schools offering building in Nigeria, but they are the schools that started off this journey very early and has been providing the benchmark for other universities that are coming up to look onto as to what is required and how it should be done in terms of processing and certifying builders. In that regard, in this our 50th year anniversary, we felt that we should also recognize them for the inputs, very important inputs that they have made to enable us have the number and size that is driving this profession onto the greater heights that we are all now witnesses to. In that regard, Vice Chancellor, University of Lagos, we present you this 50th Anniversary Service Award for the recognition and appreciation of the unique contributions of the university towards sustained development of the building profession through training and research. Congratulations. Ahmadu Bello University. And Ahmadu Bello University. University of Jos. The Vice Chancellor, University of Jos Plateau State. We, in recognition and appreciation of the unique contributions of your university towards sustained development of building profession through training and research, we make bold to present this award to you, to the university through you. Obafemi Awolowo University. On behalf of Nigerian Institute of Building, we wish to present this unique award to you in recognition and appreciation of the unique contributions of the university towards the sustained development of the building profession through training and research. Congratulations. The Vice Chancellor, Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Oka. On behalf of the Council and members of Nigerian Institute of Building, the Institute wishes to present to you this award for the recognition and appreciation of the unique contributions of the university towards sustained development of the building profession through training and research. Congratulations. Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University. Dear Vice Chancellor, ably represented, on behalf of members of Nigerian Institute of Building, we present to you this award in full recognition and appreciation of the unique contributions of the university towards sustained development of building profession through training and research. University of Uyo. Uyo?
University of Uyo.
Kaduna Polytechnic. My registrar. What do you read? Research. On behalf of Nigerian Institute of Building, permit me to present to you this Plaque of Honor Award in recognition and appreciation of the unique contribution of the Polytechnic towards sustained development of the building profession through training and research. Congratulations. Federal Polytechnic, Auchi. So the Rector, Federal Polytechnic Auchi, Assembly represented by you, we present this award in recognition and appreciation of the unique contributions of the Polytechnic towards sustained development of building profession through training and research. I want to add to this award that most of us who read the book, Building Quantities by Ivor Seeley, that Ivor Seeley was once a lecturer in Auchi Polytechnic. He's a Polish. The Rector of Polytechnic in Ibadan, Oyo State. Ibadan. On behalf of Nigerian Institute of Building, I present to you, Mr. Rector, this award in recognition and appreciation of the unique contributions of the Polytechnic towards sustained development of the building profession through training and research. Congratulations.
Sure.
The Rector, Federal Polytechnic, Oko. On behalf of Nigerian Institute of Building, present to you this award in recognition and appreciation of the unique contributions of the Polytechnic towards sustained development of the building profession through research, through training and research. Congratulations. You see, there's a way things happen. This is my old school, and you plan to bring their own award last. Eh? Okay, the biggest masquerade always comes. The first higher institution in Nigeria. Rector, Yaba College of Technology, Assembly represented, my brother. The Nigerian Institute of Building, National Council, has directed me to present this award to our rector. To our rector for the recognition and appreciation of our unique contributions towards sustained development of the building profession through training and research. Congratulations, my brother. Yeah. Is there anybody representing Nigerian University Commission? National Board for Technical Education. I would have received this, but it will not make the name. Ladies and gentlemen, any issues here? Babanla Galagba, ancient and modern. You everyone is I love. My Executive Secretary, sir, on behalf of Nigerian Institute of Building, I hereby present to you this award in recognition and appreciation of the unique contributions of the organization towards sustained development and growth of the building profession through responsive policy formulation and implementation guidelines. Congratulations. So, I don't know, is anybody want to speak on?
On behalf of the award recipients, we want to appreciate the Nigerian Institute of Building Executive for giving this award in recognition of the contribution of the various tertiary institutions offering building in Nigeria to the development of sustainable education of building technology in Nigeria. We thank you very much. I want to promise you that we will not rest on our oars. We will continue to advance the educational career of our students to ensure that building technology occupy its prime of place in Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Very good.
Is Nipri here? Nipri?
There's somebody.
Nipri?
President, but President, she works there.
It's a builder.
The president will come in
Come here. At least Madam has gotten somebody to assist you. On behalf of Nigerian Institute of Building, we present this award to the Director General of Nigerian Building and Roads Research Institute in recognition and appreciation of the unique contributions of your organization towards sustained development and growth of the building profession through responsive policy formulation and implementation guidelines. Convey our sincere appreciation.
And I want to invite again to the microphone the chairman of the organizing committee to come and give the vote of thanks.
Our elders, presidents of all our stations, especially in the built environment, and all the ministers, representatives, other members, the military parastaff, paramilitary men that are here, pressmen that are here. I know we just have so many of us within here. All the professionals that decided to honor our invitation, the practicing builders that are also here, we are proud of you. I know whatever you start that has the beginning must always have an end. I, just like my welcome address had it, I said people should sit down, relax, get yourself intoxicated. Then you will be able to grab and solve so many problems. I believe this opening ceremony has given an opening to tell you what we are expected in the whole affairs that's going on. On behalf of Marketing and Corporate Affairs Committee, that I happen to be the chairman, I want to tell you a big thank you for the time you spent to sit with us, to herald this wonderful AGM, which is going to be one of its kind, into a process of beginning. Thank you very much.
Shall we pray, please? In the name of God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit. Amen. Father, we give thanks to you for this time. We thank you for being with us since we started this program. And we thank you for the successful completion of this program. We give glory to you. We praise your holy name. As we depart from here, please do not let us depart from your presence. Guide our movements, protect us, and let us end the day joyfully. In Jesus' name I pray. Thank you.